Hello and welcome to the premiere episode of the Franchise Millionaire Show. I'm your host, Andrea Bailey Brown, and I am so excited to be here. It has been a little while, I know. I've had a podcast before. If you have not listened to it yet, it was the Franchise Success Show. We put that show on hiatus for a couple of years as I was busy helping people to invest in franchises, and that became our priority. But it's exciting to be back, and I'm going to be teaching you all things franchising and everything that you need to know to become a successful franchise investor. Alrighty, so my question for you is, when you think of franchising, what comes to mind? And perhaps the first thing that may come to mind are big brands such as McDonald's and Burger King, Popeyes. Those are the things that come to mind when people think of franchising. And they are very iconic brands, and I do understand why someone would think of that as the first thing. However, when I think of franchising, I think of wealth building. Yes, I see franchising as one of the business models that you can use to build wealth very quickly. So that's definitely what comes to mind when I consider franchising. So let's get started then. We talked about different methods of building wealth. What are some of those other methods that perhaps you are currently investing in or you are thinking about investing in? So let's start there first, and then we will go deep into where franchising fit in all of the different wealth building models. So the first one is the stock market. We've all heard about the stock market, the S&P and all of those, NASDAQ. So yes, the stock market is one of those ways that you can definitely invest. You can buy into stocks such as Apple and Microsoft and tech companies and different, but you're owning a small portion of those stocks. Sometimes, a couple stocks, Amazon as well. So the stock market is one of those ways. It's very passive. Your money's there and you don't always have a ton of say in that, but that's another way. The second way of investing is with real estate. With real estate, it's one of the main source of wealth creation that most people are familiar with and most people know. So you can invest in a single unit house. You can invest in multi-units such as apartments. You can also invest in the commercial side, such as commercial buildings, office buildings. So real estate is a model of investing and of wealth building. A third way is we've seen that's been coming up or when we've seen visionary ideas that has not been done before. And these are the ideas that would leave an impact on people and on, in society. And an example of that would be Uber and what they have done with the automotive world, right? Where people are now using their vehicles as taxis. This was never done before. Vehicles have always existed, but Uber came in with their own special idea on this. And another one would be like the self-driving cars. Those are visionary ideas that are way out there. And as I said, will leave major impact on society. And Airbnb, we've always had homes, always had places, but many people were not like renting them out when they leave. Their homes would sit empty all the time. So Airbnb came in with what has been called, I would put under that sector of visionary ideas. So there's about 9 strategies, but the key ones that I'm going to get into is these top 4 as they relate to us and where they fit in terms of franchising. And the fourth one would be entrepreneurship. And that's where you are starting your own business. And that's one of the best ways of wealth building. However, on the flip side, the stats have shown that not many people know how to start successful business. And sometimes the stats can be very dismal that within the first year or so of starting companies, first 5 years, a lot of people actually don't make it. And the reason for that is people are getting into business and they're not prepared. They don't know what it really takes to run a successful company. They have no marketing plan. They have no business strategy around their companies. And they get in with an idea, but the stats are very menial into how people can take those businesses and turn them into successful businesses that actually supports people, build wealth for them and their families, and to leave a legacy. So that is where the world that I specialize in comes in, and that is the world of franchising. So in franchising, you are also using the entrepreneurship method of building wealth, but you're using the system that someone else has created and you're buying into that system for a fee. So let us get a little bit technical for a few seconds here, because I like to keep it real, but I like to combine what the reality is of franchising. So what is a franchise? The actual definition of a franchise is that a franchise occurs when a business licenses its trade name, which is the brand, and its operating methods, its systems of how they do business, to a person who agrees to operate the business according to the terms of the contract. Yes, so did you follow that? So what the franchise is doing, the franchisor is basically like the head office, the corporate side, who owns the company, who started it. And what they're going to do is they're going to license the trade name. And they're saying, hey, you can actually use my trade name to run your own business. You're going to agree to the operating systems. You're going to agree to the way of doing business. And in return, we are going to take a small percentage, which is what we call royalties. So royalties is the return or the exchange of using that name. And the royalties I've seen can range anywhere from as little as 0.5% all the way up to 20%. And it just depends on the business model that you've decided to invest in. So that's what a franchise is. It comes already with organized systems and organized ways of doing business. But let's get a little bit deeper. We talked about when people invest in their own businesses or in their own or get started, they usually don't see the success. So why the success in the franchising world? I would say the first thing is that I've seen is because you're already buying a proven business model. You're buying a model that has been tried, tested, and it's been proven true to work over and over and over again. That, I would say, is one of the biggest things. When I'm working with clients and we are looking at which businesses they should invest in, I'm looking to see how many units they have, how many locations have the franchisor successfully opened, and how successful are their franchisees as well. So I'm examining and looking at a few different things. Of course, what's also great why franchising works is that you are getting training and support from day one. You're not really, if you think about McDonald's, you're not trying to figure out how long to keep the fries in that fryer. You're not figuring out at what point do you flip the burger for consistency, the milkshake, right? How much milk versus ice cream, what do you put in there? So you're not trying to figure that all out. That system has already been created, and that's what make it more efficient for you. And that way you can get started in your business and you will be successful all right from the beginning. When we talk about training as well, I've seen a lot of franchise companies that when you invest in that business, they will fly a team from their head and corporate office to come to see you. So if you are based in Toronto, Ontario in Canada, if you're based in Idaho, if you're based in Los Angeles, it really doesn't matter. They're going to send someone and fly a team down to help you to make sure you get started off on the right track. So that's the benefit of the training and the support And that training and support does not end when you become a franchise owner. That support continues on. Compared to when you're going it alone and you're having struggles, some people have no one to turn to. They don't know what to do. And in the end, sometimes they give up on their business because of simple ideas and simple things that they actually could have solved if they had a team around them that is supporting them. The next thing why this method of wealth building really works is because of what's called economies of scale. And in economies of scale, you can actually, the franchisor can get better pricing on products because they have a lot more people in the system that need something. So they can negotiate a lot better and a lot more efficiently for you in terms of product. So let's talk about what the question I asked at the beginning is, when you think of franchising, what comes to mind? And if you answered, I believe I said McDonald's and like Burger King. And so what I really want to point out is that we are talking about brand recognition. And with a brand recognition, you know what that means. So you could be anywhere in the world and you know what you are going to get. You know exactly what the product will taste like, what they serve. And of course, there's a slight difference if you're a McDonald's in Europe versus in LA or you're in the Caribbean. But overall, you know basically what to expect. And we were traveling with our family into Europe, in Portugal in 2018, and it was really great. We're all trying to figure out the food, and it's great for all the adults. But the young ones, I call them the youngins, are like not sure everything. They're kind of uncertain about. But when they saw the McDonald's or Shake Shack or something, it became very clear. It's almost like they felt safe because they knew what to expect, what the food was going to be like, what it would taste like. So those are the things that comes with franchising. So that brings us back to brand recognition. There is nothing like when on Cheers you want to go where everybody knows your name. That's the kind of thing that I'm thinking about. You want to have a business that when you say the name or when you hear it, people already know a bit about the company. We also just had a Chick-fil-A open in our area where we live, and the lineups, it's been long for not a day or 2 weeks. And we're not talking slim line, we're talking thick lines, and the lineups are just continuous, hasn't stopped. So that's basically what you're getting when you invest in a franchise, the speed of brand recognition. And what does that really mean when we say brand recognition? Brand recognition is brand equity, which translates into money. Show me the money, because if someone knows your brand faster, you're going to get paid a lot quicker than you taking 5 years to build your brand, 5 years to build trust, and to get people to actually know you. So that's what we're talking about. Brand recognition equal money. That's the part, and that equals franchising. Now, the next thing is you're going to get marketing and sales plans. Can I just pause for a minute for this section? There's so many people that open and start their business and they've never mentioned marketing. They've never talked about sales. How are they going to get their name out there? How are they going to become known so that more people can buy their product, invest with them? There's no mention of a marketing or a sales plan. And I have seen this so many times where so many people, all they're thinking about, I want to open a restaurant. And you know what they focus on? Well, I know how to cook, and this is what I want to do. And of course, the food matters. But to me, what is the point of making all this food if no one's going to buy it and you're going to end up throwing it out? Right? And I'm pausing there intentionally. So people go do this a bit backward. Let's focus on our food and our menu, but no one knows you. And so we should be focusing on marketing, because we do know the best known always beats the best, right? The more you're known, and people always argue about McDonald's saying, well, and they're not sure if they have the best burger and the best. And I know there's probably 10 other burger places out there where probably their burger is much better and thicker, but we don't know them. We don't know them as well as we know McDonald's, right? So making sure that the best known always beats the best. So you have to always be thinking about a marketing and sales plan. In franchising, that is given to you right away, a plan on how you're going to market. And there's some companies that has marketing departments purely for Google for you. They look at your SEO. They produce for your social, Instagram, Facebook, everything. They're working on that for you. They hand it over and all you have to do is get it online, or they will even do the entire marketing for you, which brings us to an ad fund. Some franchisees, you'll have to pay into an ad fund, but it takes away the pressure of you trying to do all the marketing yourself, which translates to you usually just don't do it at all. So franchising, that system is already set up so that you are really prepared like a well-oiled machine and you are ready to go. The next thing with franchising as a business model and a wealth building model and why it works, it's speed. I have seen my clients who have gotten started in franchising, in buying a company, getting it up and running within 6 weeks. And by 4 months or so, 6 weeks to about 6 months, they're up, ready, and they are going. And that's really the speed because the system has already been done. It has already been proven. And we have something that already works. And our proprietary system where we take people from beginning to transforming them into franchise owners is really what works and really what helps our clients become very, very successful. So of all the wealth building strategy, you have to figure out which one will work for you. Where do you want to spend your time? Do you want to invest in the stock market, in real estate, come up with your next visionary ideas? Yes, we need visionaries. Do you want to go into entrepreneurship by investing in franchises? There is not just one method that works. And a lot of our clients, a lot of us, including myself, have a combination of all of the 4 different methods that I have mentioned. And even real estate, let's talk about that. Some people have even gone on to say McDonald's is also, it's not just about McDonald's. It's a real estate company because McDonald's owns all of their real estate. And that's why during the pandemic, they were able to help out their franchisees because they could cut back on payments on leasing and things like that, right? So I didn't see any McDonald's close by where I live during the pandemic. And that's part of the support system that you get when you are with a franchise brand. So as I was saying, of the 4 methods, you can have a combination. So you can invest in franchise businesses. You can also own real estate, and you can also own the location of your investment, of your franchise business. Just so many opportunities. Don't let them tell you otherwise. There are so many great ways that you can use to build wealth. One of the things that we are also looking at when you're investing in franchise business, you're buying a business that is vetted and, they're already successful. So that's why the banks also love franchising and franchise business, because I know you'd be thinking the banks with all the money that they have, they don't mind risk taking and that, but they're very nervous. They're nervous Nellies over there. They want a system that is already proven because they don't want to lose money. And you think with all the money the banks have, they can afford to lose something. And it's like, nope. So when they're looking at companies to invest in, startups are very scary for the banks. But franchises, especially when you have 10, 50, 20, 100, 200,000 location, the banks are like, this thing works. And they are just as scared. They want to make sure that they're not losing the money that they have there. So before I get ready to wrap things up on our premiere episode, just want to say that that's one of the reasons that I started the franchise agency. And it is because I would love to help people. My mission is to help people to build wealth through franchise ownership, whether it's investing in a franchise or building franchise empires from their own concept that they have created. So that is one of the main reasons why we exist. We want to help people become successful in business. I just saw too many people starting companies and it was just going nowhere, almost as if they stayed on the runway forever and just never really took off in their business. I love this work. I help people become franchise millionaires. And I love doing that. I feel that is my mission. That is my legacy. And franchising definitely gives you that long-term strategy of wealth building. Well, I really hope you enjoy this first episode as we are just getting started. I have so much more for you in this world about all the concepts that are out there, the franchise brands that you can invest in. Wow, we are just getting started. So if you really enjoyed this episode, make sure you tune in again for our next episode. And I look forward to sharing all of my franchise knowledge with you as I help you to build wealth and become a franchise millionaire. Bye for now.